Here.
He's gonna absolutely just bonk him.
Yeah, he is. It's nice. It's also like a lot of AoE damage.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
when you have the coil, he's just gonna throw down his ult in the middle of it. He can also like follow up on the roar. They can defend towers pretty nicely with Elder Titan too. He's like a nice setup support.
What do you think would make Pudge more viable this patch?
Not picking it. I think that's actually the most viable thing you can do for Pudge.
No, I love Pudge. What a hero.
Well, do you like it being on T1? Do you think this is the Hail Mary they might need?
It might be rough as a carry into Beast. It's not like he's gonna wanna like get in there and rot down the borders. Like early, he's pretty bad against that. Like, he'll just die, especially with an aggressive support like Marcy in the lane. Who's the 5 then? Does that make?
I don't think they've picked their 5 yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Nigma Dawn most likely going. I mean, Dawn could be 5 in theory.
I'd like a strong support with the Pudge. Keep
Yeah.
him safe.
And you don't see that in any of the 3 already picked?
I mean, Dawn could be that.
Yep.
For sure, but
But then who's gonna lane with Enigma?
exactly.
Yeah.
Tiny. And then you pick up a mid.
I mean, you can. I don't know if I don't know
Would
if
say it
Dawn
works.
Pudge is the strongest lane. I mean, what's better? I guess in that case, they could do something generic like a Crystal Maiden or something, so they can get on top of the boars with the rot.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Love a CM.
wouldn't hate that. It's okay. They got enough like beefy frontliners to like fit a CM in their draft. But Fnatic have this pick here, so they'll get to see one more hero.
Maybe they need a carry. I feel like.
They do.
Would you? I know there's an Enigma, but would you feel good about something like Lifestealer into the Pudge and Dawn?
Lifestealer?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I'd feel good about a Monkey King or Gyrocopter.
Gyro.
There could be a Faceless Void, might be an
Yeah.
option too with the ET.
So
Worked pretty
true.
well last game.
TA.
Templar, yeah.
Who mentioned it? It's just
You did.
Raven's been playing it a few times this tour, and it just pairs super nicely in terms of timings with the Beastmaster, and it's gonna be a lot of physical damage.
Yep.
Yo, what is Pudge's armor like nowadays? I feel like I remember him as being a hero with like really low armor in the past.
Most strength heroes have low armor, so
Yeah.
unless they have like a spell like Sven or Tiny that gives them plus armor, so TA's
So he's still super low.
yeah really good at killing those heroes. Like
Yeah. You do have damage block, but that's about it.
yeah, but the damage block, it's good versus heroes like Troll who hit very low damage, like a Vanguard, right?
Yep.
Where you hit fast, but you hit for not very much. But versus TA, who like chunks you, like the damage block will not be saving you in these instances. Pudge does remove like refraction really quickly though. So if they do get on top of the TA, and as we mentioned, Beast is the only way to cancel Black Hole. So late game might be a little stressful here for Fnatic, as it usually is versus Enigma with limited control.
Doesn't look like they're aiming to go for late game though with that lineup.
Yeah, they got Beast TA, so they can play.
They just like run it.
Yeah.
I mean, Beast TA is a really good combo. It's just, you have so much vision, right? You have the Hawk, you have the traps, you can play the map super well, and Puck is really going to thrive off having all that vision too.
Yeah, they have loads of jump too. Like between the Puck and the TA, who's gonna get Blink, and Marcy being able to jump in, and then like all the long range spells from ET, they just have a lot of like reach to utilize this vision. I think T1, I would like to see them contesting Roche though this game, because I think if Fnatic get away with like first Roche, it's gonna be really really hard for T1 to play.
Alright, what's the pick here? Is it Lich?
Oh my
Is
god,
that it?
I
The-
heckin' love Lich.
The ET Beast TA counter? It's a godlike shield game.
Dude, you're so right.
But Lich is a hero of the past.
No, I want it.
I don't know if it's in the game anymore.
You
I
stole
remember, I remember I saw a Slardar lane, like this is months and months ago, and then like someone just picked Lich against it in a pro game, and it popped off. It was like the biggest Lich of all time, and like it was not in the meta at all. But because it was a good Lich game, it was a good Lich game. And
They
I
had
see
to
it. I
show
see
it.
your vision. For
Yeah.
No.
They don't see it. They definitely don't see it. They're going to go the Viper. Instead, we're going to see where these are going to go. In the meantime, while they're picking their heroes, we're going to bring in GoDz Lyrical, our casters once again. how did you guys enjoy game one? Is what I feel like I never really asked you guys about game one, so you can tell me how you liked
Don't
game
ask
one.
about game one.
Okay, all right. Well, we're just gonna go straight on to game two, then Lyrical, please, straight on to game two draft.
We got a Pudge. What's not to love about that? We got ET, you know,
much.
the old SVG special. Not here, but in spirit. You gotta love that, man. I'm excited. I think this is gonna be a fun one.
Yourself, Gods?
It seems like a bit of desperation for T1 just busting out a Pudge out of nowhere, but I'm down for it. I think T1 need to change something. So, and Pudge is legit good. Like even if we haven't seen T1 playing it, I'm excited to see if Gabby can pull this off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited too. Are you all in on the Pudge then? I know you like it.
I mean,
so.
I'm excited about the Pudge. I still think Fnatic are going to win, but I'm
Okay.
excited about the
All
Pudge.
right, all right. You're like, I like the Pudge, but Fnatic.
I mean, I don't have enough time to talk about T1 swapping their heroes up here, but I think Fnatic still
Oh, I
are
see.
just going to have an edge in this game overall and draft-wise.
Okay, so that means you're going all in Fnatic.
All in, yeah, all in.
That's exactly
Absolutely.
what Pia said. All in Fnatic for these guys, but we're also all in for game number 2 between Fnatic and T1.
Game 2, let's go. Oh wait, I didn't do that right. There we go. The camera's a little bit out of place. Man, Parker, we need to see something here because T1, they've put on again one of those decently good performances throughout the season. It comes down to the final match. Game 1 did not look great. I like the idea of completely changing things up. And you say you like the Pudge. Tell the people that like maybe have been out of tune. What's so great about this Pudge carry? How does it work?
It's super tanky and hard to kill. Very strong laner. The way it works is like with all the damage block you get from your flesh heap, it's less about being this like the old Pudge is like sniping people, pulling them in with hook. New Pudge is about just running at them with like BKB ags and just being unkillable, super tanky, eating them. Yeah, get in there and eat them. And then you've got all this crazy damage block going, and you're just like this unkillable beast that just tanks all this damage. And it's just super obnoxious. It's played in the carry role just because it really benefits from having a lot of farm and getting these items. Like the more items you get, the more unkillable you become.
All right. Well, I like to see that, and it'll be interesting to watch. Obviously, damage block kind of not great against like the big individual hits that come in, particularly from Raven as the game gets later. That's going to be something to watch for. But it feels like against Beastmaster, it could be kind of interesting in the mid game. You know, if you roar him and then just start trying to tickle him there with all the creeps and stuff, might not be able to break through that that big damage block potential. We'll see though. It'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely. I feel like Fnatic have the kind of draft that can, I mean, regardless of what T1 pick, just overrun things. Beastmaster TA. This was like just go to cookie cutter kind of draft, like maybe a year ago, or maybe even going back to like the start of this year in Tour 1. These two heroes play with so much speed and tempo. Their ability to take objectives in Roshan and hit this timing in the mid game with Blink, Deso. And then BKB on TA and Beastmaster with Helm of the Overlord is really spooky.
Nice hook. All right, 1 for 1 on Gabby. We'll keep track of them. Actually, I'm not going to do that. It's going to be way too much work. But yeah, they do manage to get 2 of the bounty runes. And like Fear was alluding to, it is going to be that switch up where it's Dawnbreaker played in the mid role for Carl, which does mean that we're going to set up for a Whitemon Enigma, who on top of having a Pudge to lane with is also going to be denying out creeps down here bottom.
Yeah, I think the Enigma support I wasn't too surprised by, but I thought like it'd be like an off-lane Dawnbreaker with mid Tiny. Tiny, typically does pretty well against Puck, but I've also seen this Dawnbreaker Puck mid matchup, and Dawnbreaker does similarly surprisingly well, just very strong laner. I expect both will get their farm and get their bottles and do their thing. Top lane, whew, Januel. That's the TP out, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure the reasoning for this because I do feel like they already had a decent mid laner to go against the Puck. To me, the main thing that stands out is they really want to fit in a Viper to answer the TA in lane.
Yeah, which is very effective. And, the panel we're talking, I think Fear was mentioning, this Astral Spirit playing for Januel, trying to be the thing that gets that good pressure on against the Enigma, but not laning against him. Likewise, though, you're going to be pretty decent against Zephyr, being able to punch him here and there as the lane goes on. Low armor on that hero to start at the very least, but we'll keep our eyes on it. And so far, Carl doing very good mid, 8-4 versus 3-1. So, we've been harping on him, needing to see some more action from him, and he's doing it so far here.
Yep, has the bottle out already, so yeah, just great great start using that Celestial Hammer to secure last hits, zone puck away, help get some of those early denies, and definitely a lane that should get a little better for puck with some of these higher levels in Illusionary Orb, but Carl just, putting the pressure on.
Love to see that. And needs to get in towards the bottle. I think it's coming out right now for the puck. In that bottom lane, there's a little bit of a battle that was going on. DJ just got the D ward on the small camp, but that means it's still not going to respawn, or it's not going to respawn at the 2-minute mark. And he actually heads all the way top, trying to set up for a kill here. Pulls back one onto Cuckoo. Zephyr playing a little bit of interrupt, but not enough.
All right.
Again, Fnatic with these early rotations finding kills.
The DJ special. I mentioned this guy loves to gank and be a playmaker. Like, he'll sometimes play those big team fighty, like enigmas and stuff, but to me, his specialty is playing these active roamers, and off to a great start. And this is the lane where I like that they're almost tri-laning at this point. DJ's going back in again. He's looking for another.
Oh, this would be huge if they could get it. Rebound. They find one. Zephyr will go for the avalanche. Try to get away. Toss up. Down low and dead. Meanwhile, on the other side, Gabby managed to find a kill onto Jabs. You can see Cuckoo get some good counter pressure. So in spite of the gank and now a tri-lane going on, the lane's still in a pretty good position for T1.
Yeah, and this is what has to happen. Like, if they're going to tri-lane you top, and the top lane's still going fine. Cuckoo, you can see, really putting the pressure on, doing a lot of harass. Even though he dies there, it doesn't ruin his lane. He's able to still come back and dominate. Giving up one kill doesn't suddenly swing the advantage the other way. But the big trade-off for Fnatic is they're leaving Jabs alone. And Pudge is a hero with a lot of kill threat in lane. Already 2 points in the rot. Like, you can't just leave... I mean, you can leave Beastmaster alone down here, but he's going to suffer.
Right. And definitely already feeling that one right now. Trying to get a pull-off. Does manage to connect to the hard campus. Carl, ooh, back underneath the tower, in trouble. And going to find the kill. Armel, not bad. So DJ just making magic happen on this Marcy.
But good news is they're going to deny Puck's rune. Enigma had an idol on at the bottom rune, and Zephyr was top, so no rune for Armel, who's going to have to TP himself back to base. Still getting that kill. Very nicely done. That was a really good rotation. But again, bottom lane, Gabby, he's found him, hits the meat hook, and then rots him down. Level 6 already on Gabby's Pudge.
This is huge. I mean, this is really, really good. That's a level 3 Beastmaster that's coming back into this lane. You know, Gabby's been hearing the criticism from the fans and showing he's still, he's a pretty good player here. There's a reason they got picked up.
Yeah, and I'm going to be, honestly, I think unfair criticism. Like, he's not been, I don't think he's been, like, flawless. He's made mistakes, but I think T1 as a whole, like, across the board, have just not looked like a cohesive team. So, love to see him have a good game here on this Pudge. Jabs is still trying to come back to lane this time around. DJ, he's probably been like, dude, DJ, I'm going to be level 3 this entire game if I don't get some help down here. I feel like this Pudge can almost 1v2 this lane and get kills. Like, that's how strong Pudge is at this stage. He is an absolute monster. He doesn't have the mana for the hook plus the dismember, so we'll see what he can find.
Yeah, does have the soul ring ready to go now, but popping that might bring him down to a little bit too scary of a position. We'll keep our eyes on it. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, Carl makes a pretty good jump there onto Armel, but DJ makes the rotation, has the dispose and under tower, but will be maybe fine, maybe not fine. Zephyr makes the move over. Oh, but they get the orb out, and that's enough for the kill. So Carl, a little bit too aggressive mid. He gets punished.
Yeah, Carl had such a good start to his lane. He was like, got every single creep on the first 4 waves, I think, except one. Then he was farming the puck small camp, but things have very quickly swung the other way. Still got some good farm, but these kills are really helping Armel's game. And the puck is a hero that can perhaps swing the momentum back Fnatic's way and maybe alleviate some of the issues caused from this bottom lane.
Yeah, the bottom lane is definitely still the big problem that we're seeing. And Whitemon going to make the move over right now to come and contest this, take away that hard camp as well. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing else he can do at this point.
Yep. I mean, it's slow, but Jabs will just do what he can to get the farm on this camp. Unfortunately, it won't respawn, as you mentioned. Maybe he can farm Ancients, at least very slowly. But he'll be left alone as top lane Viper. Cuckoo still having a pretty good time against the TA. He's not farming that well, but he's keeping the TA down. But here comes
Ooh.
the puck.
Puck rotation. Avalanche, they throw in one. Dawnbreaker ulti afterwards. They do not have Dream. Oh, wait, they do. They have Dream Coil. Back up immediately. Drops it. And Zephyr jumped on a couple quick more rounds. Carl trying to do what damage he can. Cuckoo down low does have stick charges, but won't be enough to keep him alive. That coil must have just come back off cooldown there from Armel. Good rotation.
Yeah. Going for a fast earn on this puck is giving him an extra, little bit of offensive damage whenever he makes these rotations. I don't imagine... Oh, you are going to see the full vessel, so prioritizing this against the Dawnbreaker. We saw it last game as well against Dawnbreaker, just a really useful item against the heals.
You saw that as well. Jabs was TPing into that bottom lane, cancels it, and that sets up for a good amount of pressure onto that tier 1. I think I mean, you don't often see that this is the first tower that gets taken, but it looks like it's going to happen now.
Vanguard phase boots Pudge. You don't want to come near the Pudge. He gets the tier 1 tower. He's almost got 5k net worth. He's just throwing Soul Ring plus Meat Hook at the neutral camps to get some extra farm, since you also one-shot neutrals now. Gabby's the guy who has to, it's not the most active hero, but he's gonna they're gonna have to play around him.
And Armel there trying to make a play for the rune. It did spawn down bottom, and Carl is gonna get there in time. So the question is, after the amazing laning stage that Gabby has had, where does he go now? What's the game plan? Because, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, it's hard because wherever you go, the enemy is going to mirror it in the sense they're going to not go there. Like, nobody wants to lane or play against the Pudge. It's kind of that Timbersaw effect where this is one hero that nobody is strong enough to play into. Or if you're going to go into the Pudge, you have to bring like 3 or 4 heroes. So he could go top and take the tier 1 tower, but that's going to give this bottom lane to Beastmaster, maybe even the TA. TA is pretty happy to jungle, so for now he's choosing to stay bottom just to keep this Beastmaster out of the lane.
Cuckoo, he's going to be found here, and Zephyr also in the area. Dawnbreaker ulti comes in to try and interrupt. Toss forward, connects onto Carl actually, so they don't get the perfect combo out. And now Zephyr, he's going to be the one left behind. So in spite of this 2k gold lead, Fnatic making good rotations, and that was another smoke from DJ and Armel playing together.
Yeah, it's kind of a reverse of last game where Fnatic getting kills but losing the farm game. One thing I want to highlight, like, Beastmaster's been trying to jungle in his Ancients and at the triangle, but Enigma is constantly sending out Eidolons to block these camps from spawning. Like, it's not even being blocked by wards. Like, once he dewarded it, the Eidolons at both the 9-minute mark and the 8-minute mark blocked both Ancients and the big camp. So really love what Whitemon's doing. To like, he's basically winning the gold war, even though, T1 are kind of getting picked apart and things are looking bad for them. But then you look up and you're like, wait a second, they're actually, they're doing just fine.
And you remember back at TI, I think the first person that I saw do this was Jabs on his Nature's Prophet, who was doing it consistently against every team. So a little bit of a taste of his own medicine here. It will finally get a camp to spawn now. But I just remember so many games where Jabs was being such a nuisance, continuing to do that. Armel will spot Cuckoo here. Does have the urn, but this is a tough kill unless he gets some help. And, well, Januel making the move over. This might be the one to do it. He has Earth Splitter ready to go. DJ making that move as well. The coil is out. Needs to dodge to the side. Does a good job of it, but still gets hit. Dawnbreaker ulti in, trying to salvage this. Avalanche forward, finds Januel, has the toss, the break, the punches, and finally they get the punishment. Looking for the hook, has the angle. No, he does already used it. The White Mount also kills DJ. Okay, clean up without the black hole.
Good retaliation. Not having that vessel completed means the Dawnbreaker coming in with the Solar Guardian and bringing in some heals just made all the difference. And T1's going to follow this up with the T1 tower push. That's how I think you want to play around this Pudge is if there's ever any over-aggression, Pudge needs to show up. He's kind of the cleanup crew. I mean, he's also a hero that you can just put in any lane and basically push it with a Pudge, even though it's not like a crazy building damage here. It's more like Pudge being here makes it hard to defend because there's always that threat of a meat hook.
Right. And as we've seen, you know, when they do eventually show up, he will kill just about anybody unless they're able to get away from him like Armel. So something to watch for. Jabs, again, left to his own devices, still trying to catch up. He's almost even with Cuckoo now and, you know, has that Helm of the Dominator completed. So, you know, you never love to see a 11-minute tier 1 tower still alive against Beast, but this is a decent way to see it work. Now he's catching up.
He stuck it out. He grinded it in the jungle. One camp at a time, even with all the camps being blocked. And finally, the Pudge rotating meant he finally got a lane. He was like, okay, I can actually go farm the lane.
Zephyr hoping to salvage this. They don't get the coil. Yeah. Stomp now onto 2. Raven trying to set up the angle. Doesn't connect. Oh, we didn't get the side points. Hit the black hole for the turn. Corb gets away. They can't get him. Oh, and Armel, you gone too far now, Muster. That's 2 dead. Dude, what a salvage from Whitemon.
Huge black hole. That is so big. And they're fighting around these objectives too, so they're going to follow up with a T1 mid tower. You love to see that if you're a T1 fan. The way they kind of counterplayed that, kept the Dawnbreaker alive. You know, obviously very small, like just misplay, I guess, from Fnatic, not breaking the coil with the Marcy. You know, it's one of those things that's not fully reliable. Like, if he's standing right in the middle of the coil, sometimes the Dispose just doesn't quite pull him far enough until you get, like, the Aether Lens and stuff. So, as a result, yeah, he survived, and they got baited in. Puck tried to finish him off, but couldn't land the orb to do so. And T1, they're pulling further and further ahead now with these objectives being claimed as well.
Impressive stuff. I mean, it's still not a sort of, you know, dominant lead like we saw from Fnatic in the last game, but it's definitely an improvement, and you've got the tools at this point from T1 to keep up that momentum. For Fnatic, where do we need to see them go next? Like, I feel like they're still a ways off from any power spike here.
Yeah, the TA still kind of wants to jungle a bit more. I mean, you can maybe play around the Blink, the pre-Deso, just having Blink, Treads, Dragonlance is still a lot of damage, particularly with the level 4 meld, which he's about to get. So the problem is, I don't think you want to fight into this 5-met of T1.
Oh, good dispose. But Avalanche gets there, and the hammer down, hook in. Gabby got him.
It's just so much catch. Like, not really even about the Pudge with the Mayhook. It's just, yeah, toss in. Dawnbreaker has gap close as well. Using the Celestial Hammer. They will defend this bottom lane. The Hulk will scout it out. So Jabs will be fine here. If anything, you see Carl TP down here and you're thinking, maybe you want to gank this guy because he's playing down here by himself, hoping to use that Solar Guardian to connect with his team. It does seem like T1 aware. They're drawing circles in this jungle. They're probably telling Carl, like, you know, try and get some farm, but you do not want to be losing your Dawnbreaker down here.
Right. I mean, and to be fair, it's a hard kill to get. Carl is very strong right now. I mean, you know, just finished an Ogre Axe. I mean, even has the bonus health from the Trusty Shovel. Every little thing piled on for him. And yeah, Fnatic realized this is not going to be a kill that works out, and so they're going to have to dodge. DJ still hanging on to this top lane while TA farms up those Ancients.
Yeah, I think for Fnatic, you're not feeling thrilled about the game state, but at least you're maintaining some level of farm on Raven's TA. He's the main person that you're going to be playing around in terms of item timings. He's not going for the Deso, just rushing a BKB so that he can be ready to join these fights earlier. Kind of speaks a bit to the state of this game that Fnatic are not feeling like things are kind of going according to plan if they're rushing a BKB on TA, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and T1, they're going to have some answers for that. They've got Dismember, they've got Black Hole. It's not like a game where you can just get BKB and have free reign over a team fight.
No, not at all. But like you said, you kind of need it if Gabby does get onto her. I mean, the BKB will even be nice to sort of help deal with the rot a little bit because the Aghanim Scepter's done. And this is that item that takes Pudge to that next level of depravity. So we'll see. Armel spots Whitemon up top, throws out the orb, sees Gabby, realizes that is not who I want to go on, and will run away.
Yeah,
Gabby,
the
looking.
is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to go really too near this Pudge.
It's pretty crazy. About the same radius as a black hole, but they will find one. Oh, that was a little bit off.
Yeah, He tried to counterplay it too with the Dawnbreaker, but he was donezo. Got disposed from the river back up to the high ground. I think it's a big thing for Fnatic. Right now, they're keeping the Beastmaster split push going. They don't mind if Jabs dies down here. Obviously, the goal for Jabs is to split push this without getting picked off. Ooh, that hook. Very close. You know, the goal is basically he split pushes, TA farms Ancients, and the other 3 heroes, like, go around and poke and prod. Like, poke at the mid lane, try and get some farm, try and find a pick-off like they just did on the Cuckoo Viper, but don't take a team fight ever. So they're executing this kind of split push style gameplay to create space for Raven to free farm really well right now. And it's up to T1. Like, the pressure's on them to make a move that punishes this. And they think the answer is to go for a smoke, and they're trying to sweep out this Beastmaster from this bottom part of the map.
Spot Genuel. Oh, the smoke breaks. They are only going to get these creeps, it looks like.
Yeah, he thought it was broke on the Beastmaster, but it was actually the ET who was coming down there. Very unfortunate for T1. Just a bit of bad luck more than anything, I feel. They had the right idea, and they were going to connect on Jabs if they just kept going.
This has gotten a little bit awkward now. Genuel.
They see him.
Chase, toss back, and you're into the bog now, sir. There is no way out of that one.
And they know ET's nearby. He just threw out a stomp. If they want to follow the spirit, they might have an idea. Yeah, they know where he is, but he's already TPing out, so.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Game of
chance for that.
cat and mouse, it feels like.
Definitely. Well, and, you know, you got the next round of neutrals that are up and online at this point. So continuing to try and zone out this map. T1 putting pressure and will sweep across to top next, it looks like, as they just sort of corralling these heroes, much like the old shepherd dogs.
Yeah, where T1 go, Fnatic will, kind of go run away. So, or they're going to be forced into a fight here. They are making make a play on Carl.
Hey, don't break it again, but it might still be enough damage. Mass TPs coming in. Gabby looking for a target. If he can find one, this would be huge. Raven, hook just not long enough. It was right on target, though.
The days of Aetherland Pudge are long gone. Wishing he had it there, maybe, but good job by Fnatic. Again, it's this poke and prod style. Like, we're not taking a team fight. We'll take a pick off and then run like hell, because every time they show themselves on the map, T1, of course, are going to run at them. Problem is, T1 run at them top, and they get out, and now Jabs has got free reign over bottom again. He's just pushing this with his hero. Before, he was just pushing it with the summons, but, he gets a bit of space and sees heroes top. Suddenly, he's able to just, play normally. And right now, we're seeing T1 just a lack of mobility around the map, a lack of cash. They've got Tiny's Blink Dagger, but feels like they need like a Blink Boots of Travel on Pudge or something at this point. There is a Blink queued up on Gabby. Yeah, I was about to say, I was curious to see if he buys that or the BKB. He had both queued up, and he buys the Blink. They desperately need this catch.
And I guess that's one of the downsides in a way of having this Dawnbreaker mid. Just traditionally, you think about Carl here as you think about like an Ember or Void Spirit or something that can get that ball rolling. Very much you want to play away from your team and sort of wait for that moment to, jump into the team fight and make a turn. And that means that they don't have that other playmaker on T1. But now with the Blink Dagger done on Pudge, this could be the moment for him as Zephyr will walk up high ground, find Januel, and toss him right on top of Gabby again. Can they find any more? Whitemon?
Gabby blinks in, but
Malefice gets out.
Yeah, it's every single time they make these moves, it just seems like Januel's kind of disrupting it. Like, a bit of misfortune the previous time, and again, it's like at some point you got to really credit Januel. Like, he's been in the right place to pop these smoke ganks and disrupt any T1 moves. But
that is the play right there, though. They find him. Avalanche got Armel.
Yep.
They needed it, and immediately into Roche.
Yeah, this is the one thing. They draft Roche just decently because of how farm they got, but they theoretically, like, against the split push style, you generally want to Roche just sooner against it, but they just don't have the best Roaching heroes. Like, they don't have a TA. But they'll get it nonetheless uncontested, but anytime you go for a Roche, there's a TA split pushing bottom. And we'll see what the next move for T1 is going to be. It's going to be a constant game of pickoff, and for Fnatic, constant game of split push.
It's the constant way. They got to keep it going. Gabby TP's down bottom with the Aegis, trying to push out this wave and was hoping to catch Raven, but wisely he will be staying a little bit further back there. So again, you got to wonder at what point is Fnatic going to be able to win a fight? Because it feels like that eventually has to happen. If they're hoping to take this game down.
Yeah.
This could be a good one though. I mean, if you do it all through pickoffs, that's not bad.
Yeah, because honestly, the answer to that is I don't see like a clear item. Like this TA, their item, they recognize TA as like the, the hero that's meant to carry this game and hit generally a mid-game timing, which is why heroes like Dawnbreaker went for a Heaven's Halberd into an AC queued up. They're going all in to itemize against TA basically with disarm, evasion, armor. They don't have a, I mean, there's a Puck in the game, but because of this Spirit Vessel build, Puck isn't really going that like heavy magic damage carry build. And I think for Fnatic, if you want to win fights later on, they're going to need Armel to get super farmed and basically do most of the damage. Because I don't think TA is going to have an easy time in these fights with all the BKB Pierce and all the itemization that's designed to negate what Raven can do.
Right, and that means that it's going to be much later into the game, and
Puck
this
again.
cannot afford to happen. Big old stomp. The stun comes through. That does not bode well for Armel.
Yeah. And that's the first time the last times they did it, it was like a toss in with the Pudge Dismember. They did it with just, that's like tiny kind of, not solo killing, but he sets that up by himself. No other hero was needed to be there because Dawnbreaker just ulties in. So the fact Tiny can essentially solo kill Puck is huge for T1.
Oh, Gabby's coming. Gabby's coming. Does he get him? Oh, the hook's off the mark. Just the entire team running away.
Yeah.
It's a little
I'm
scary,
glad we didn't
isn't
keep
it?
track of the hooks that you said at the start. And it's not even because he's missing or making bad hooks. It's just that he's constantly fishing in trees because they're so damn annoying. They're just split pushing, and he's like, one of these days he's going to hook somebody in the trees, and it's going to be glorious. But there's going to be probably 10 missed hooks before that happens.
I like it. That's reasonable. And, these last couple of minutes, it's been constant pressure out, and now they're finally, after getting their lanes in a pretty decent position, there's still some pressure top. They're looking to try and take this tier 2 tower in the mid lane. And yeah, there is just no way that they kill Gabby at this point. I mean, he can carry this gem till the end of the game.
The issue is going to be more maybe running out of slots. Like he's got BKB coming out. I guess he perhaps gets rid of the Vanguard, but curious to see where he goes. Maybe the phase boots want to get. Maybe he's going to get some boots of travel. I think would be really nice for him as well, just because of all the split push.
How do you feel about overwhelming Blink?
I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
See if he
down
gets
for
it
some
eventually.
Overwhelming Blink. That helps address the slot issue a bit by just upgrading one of your current items.
Yeah. They're doing a good job of shutting down this vision.
It's still like every time I see T1 like address a lane or stop some split push, I look at the other side of the map and Fnatic's already there. Like they TP top and already 2 heroes are like almost at the base in the bottom lane. Someone needs to get back. This tier 3 tower will die.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah.
is under attack.
Doesn't want to TP. He's just walking down here, but
It does have to dismember for it. Now.
I mean, he's just basically giving away gold for building damage and map pressure. Like, he doesn't mind feeding these ancient creeps. Yeah, it adds up. It's definitely some good gold. But you can see Fnatic are keeping things pretty close when it comes to the overall team net worth. But, I mean, to go back to your question, it very much is like a when can Fnatic win a team fight? And I still think the answer is a bit unclear.
Yeah, I don't think that Fnatic feel confident in it. If nothing else, that has become clear by virtue of the way they've been playing the game. So, they will continue to dodge till the ends of the earth, it looks like. And I mean, the fact that they were still able to get so many pickoffs is what's kept them in this game in terms of net worth lead. But it's just like the way that the fights have gone, it feels like they're, they're still not confident in it. Next couple of minutes, maybe that changes.
Soy T.
Yeah, they got
Daniel here. Just the support, though. This is his job. And I think that's the key thing for T1 is setting up vision on the map that finds pickoffs, like whether it's cliff wards on the side of the map and trees, lane ward. Like, they've got a lane ward bomb. They're starting to set up all this vision. And Jabs is going to get caught by a ward here.
Well played. Gabby's there. Carl there to help out as well. And then afterwards, they get the Ancient Granite Golem. Aegis did just expire. Are they really going to try and go on Gabby now? They bring him down. Oh, BKB run away, but isn't it enough? Oh my God, they killed him. Fat man down. And now trying to get out of there is Carl. He's in trouble too. The hubris. has it come back to bite him? Although the rest of the team's coming in. Carl trying to get away. Zephyr looking, Ava, toss in. DJ thought there was help, but it was a good interrupt. And Black Hole afterwards catches onto Armel. So you will find a kill on the Pudge, but it comes at a cost as everybody else starts to drop.
Somehow still a good fight for T1. I mean, that just goes to show how good their team fight is, that they can lose their Pudge for almost next to, I mean, it did cost a Dream Core, but they just lose their Pudge right with the H6 prize. It was such a smart idea from Fnatic to go for that kill. Because if he has Dismember there, he just turns with BKB Dismember and heals himself back up. But because he'd used it on jabs, it was on cooldown. They knew they could make that kill happen. Unfortunately, there wasn't the best escape plan for Fnatic. I mean, they could have just backed off. They thought they had follow-up kills. And, you know, T1 being as farmed as they are and with, like, you know, some pretty crazy good team fight with Black Hole, like, they just kind of stick around for a bit too long. But as you can see, this game's still very much anyone's game, though.
Yeah. I mean, that is kind of what's wild, right? Is that, you know, the biggest lead ever that T1 gets in the course of this game is off the back of losing their Pudge. But like you say, it's kind of the way that this game has gone. And shows that they're not invincible. The Fnatic lineup's starting to get a little bit more comfortable. Man, if they were able to pull this game around and just turn it, I would just be so impressed with Fnatic, because they have been playing such clean Dota, and we'll see what happens. They're smoked up, though. They're ready to go again. Big jump. Gabby ready to follow up. Salvage? No. Wait, Whitemon, he got caught. Great silence from RL, but Gabby, he's right on top of him afterwards. So they'll find and kill that puck. The BKB out from Cuckoo means Fnatic can't really go on him that easily again, although maybe they will. All grouped together, hook out, not gonna happen. Gem down.
Gabby has to blink away, Dismember up in a couple of seconds here, but Fnatic, even their, I mean, you can see this is kind of Fnatic team fighting, but their team fight is it's pickoff centric. They're trying to just pull somebody in with the Dispose, kill them, and then disengage, and then wait for Dispose to come back up and do the same thing again. I mean, they basically did that twice onto the same hero, the Viper, but they're not looking to hard commit for a 5-on-5 fight. They're just looking to use DJ's playmaking and ability to dispose people. He's got Psychic Headband plus Aether Lens. The cast range is pretty nutty at this point. Dream neutral items for him. Is anyone going to Telescope? I don't think so, unfortunately.
And now the turn, the roar, everything dropped down. They have Black Hole available, but the toss out and away, not gonna happen. Wow. They find the finish onto Pudge again. And, well, Carl will take down Januel, but I mean, I think it's worth noting that, like you're talking about, like, it's evidence of this. Right before that kill, DJ was involved in every single kill but one. And even that one, he still got it disposed on. He just didn't get credit with the assist, but I mean, it's so central to their lineup.
Yeah, he's the guy. If he's not there, you're split pushing. If DJ is not next to you, your job is never going to be to try and start a fight or find a pickoff. It's all around this Marcy, and this is the reason this hero is played as, I think its best role is as a 4 position and as this playmaker is just because of these disposes. And that's going to be the name of the game for Fnatic. It's not over yet. I think the key thing is Pudge needs to find a way to survive against this physical damage. Like, even with the plate mail, that TA just seemed to shred through him.
Yeah.
I'm curious if he should be going for, like, an Ethereal Blade or something, just for, like make TA get a Nullifier. Because, like, having a Ghost Scepter there would be so nice. But it's at this point, he's hoping to play around his team. So I'm okay with this option. But the key thing is he can't be playing, like, too solo. If he's got an Enigma behind him with a Blink Black Hole, you know, if he's got Dawnbreaker nearby with the disarm, then you can maybe go for this build that's less self-survival.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you there. And I mean, I think it's kind of what we talked about earlier, right? That this damage block is really good against the low instances, but, you know, TA, she had an Enchanted Quiver right before, is actually going back for the Grove Bow now, and gonna have a Deso very soon. This is really hard territory for them to get into. Maybe the E-Blade on somebody else, and also maybe a Lincoln's or something. But regardless, they'll find Januel, take him down, and get the quick pick there.
Yeah, this may just be the answer. Get a pick off, get an Aegis for your Pudge. Then you don't have to worry about itemization or surviving the TA. Just have 2 lives. You don't have to survive.
There you go.
You don't have to survive the TA if you can just, you know, cheat that. But we're not going to give Roche away. They've got ET buying back. And ET around the Roshan pit is scary.
DJ couldn't quite find him. Zephyr toss back, but disposes there. That range too big. He might have to buy back here. And likewise, they
Enigma
lose
also got
another. Oh, this has gotten scary very quickly.
Radiant's
Yeah.
middle tower is under attack.
Suddenly, things around this Roshan pit. Several heroes without buyback means these supports have to position very cautiously. Enigma does have Blink Aether Lens, but you've got to make sure you kind of bide your time. And I think his goal is to black hole the Puck, because it seems Puck is kind of tunnel visioned on Enigma. Anytime Enigma shows, Puck is just jumping in and killing Whitemon. So vision is so key, and that's where, you know, we've seen Fnatic use these Hawks really effectively. Radiant not playing with the gem anymore because they lost that gem, and that just makes things a little bit tricky for them.
True.
Master Hawks just always scanning them out.
I mean, and again, like, if you find that perfect moment to fight, it's great, but they don't have that hero that really scouts it out. They needed that momentum, the gem and everything else that it gave them. I mean, maybe with Eidolons, but it's not easy.
And like, they go for a full smoke, but they know where Fnatic are, but they also can't just run at the high ground here. DJ's positioned on the cliff. He's on his ward. Any smoke breaks, he can either jump in with a dispose or just disengage. I think if anything, he'd just... if you can get the jump in your Fnatic, you can win the fight. So smoking is very tricky for T1, given that they lack vision of this high ground, and they don't have any good ways to get it. Like, Fnatic can easily scout. They can send up Beastmaster summons. They can send up, you know, Hawks, of course, Quillbores, TA traps. The vision aspect is really making this late game hard for T1.
And again, every time they have to position around this side of the map, there is that danger that you could just have jabs, you know, grab an ancient, send it down bottom lane and keep that pressure on. Likewise, you know, Armel, he's got boots of travel, so they're going to need to come back and defend against this. And I guess Carl is a great hero to make that happen. But you kind of want that AC aura there to help keep Pudge alive.
Yeah, there's always a sacrifice, and Carl also doesn't feel fully safe if he's buying. Like, he can maybe defend it when it's near the tier 3, but pushing it out against Boots of Travel Puck, against Beastmaster, like, that's not something he feels too good about. So he's not able, like, he'll push it out for one wave, and then it's already pushing right back in. So he's kind of glued to this bottom lane in a way that he's not really enjoying.
Right. You know, I'm remembering back to, I don't remember if it was an Eastern Europe series or a Southeast Asia one, where it was another one of these teams that just had all of their team fight around Marcy, and I saw 4 Lincolns get picked up. Late game, it does feel like that could become an issue if they want to itemize to that. So I feel like Fnatic need to make the most of it, and they're getting ready right now. Smoke on smoke action. Gabby jumps into all of them. Oh, watch out. Whitemon might be coming. Got to be careful about this opening, but the good turnaround with the Earth Splitter. Still, Raven in trouble. Dust down. Ava, toss. Whitemon, black hole, but he gets the John out. Armel gets away. They buy back on jabs. A good fight, but is there anything left in the tank?
They've got another dismember, but the BKB cooldowns is the big problem here.
Yeah. Interesting. So no BKBs, but likewise, they don't have to buy back yet on the TA. Yeah. Does T1 feel comfortable going into the pit right now? It looks like they're going to stop in.
I think with Cuckoo having BKB and Carl having the Ag Shard, they feel safe enough with these 2 heroes in the front line. Gabby can't just go blinking into 5 heroes again without a BKB, but doing a nice job dodging the ET spells. Will TA buy back for this one?
It's I mean, it doesn't feel like, well, okay. We're back up. DJ jumps in, finds one. Gabby, it's a decent go to get in the roar. 4-staff trying to keep him alive. It's not going to happen. Gabby dead, no buyback. Oh, Carl, he wants to finish down the Roche so quickly, but on top of all of them, will it be enough? Roche, low, very low, but they kill him first. Yo, Fnatic, what a fight. They didn't kill Roche. They focused the heroes.
Oh man, they just that was just absolute chaos in the pit, and T1, they were just like tunnel vision, like, we gotta get Roche, we gotta get Roche. But again, it's DJ with the dispose in, and Pudge, he bought out the Shivers. He had buyback money. He decided he wanted the Shivers. We'll see it again here. And the big thing, it looked like Zephyr tried to get a toss out. He blinked in with an avalanche. I thought he was trying to toss out the Pudge, but he couldn't quite toss the Pudge to safety, and they're just gonna lose their high ground. No one has buyback.
Yeah,
they could just burn them.
I don't think that, I mean, Fnatic obviously assume that they have buyback, but pretty soon, when nobody is back up, they might try a tier 4s. And if they do, the game is theirs. 40 seconds with no Dawnbreaker. They're going to start punching. The call is out. 20 seconds, no Pudge. The game was looking so good for T1.
I think with Glyph, they'll hold because, yeah, there's enough time for... Like, you could lose the tier 4s here, but they should at least get one last fight in before the throne goes down with Pudge.
They've got to get everything out of this. And they're going to back out. Oh, man. But, I mean, regardless, a crippling blow to T1.
Yeah. It's crazy because, like you say, Fnatic could have won. Obviously, they don't know the buyback status, and getting double racks is like the safe choice. You go for throne, they buy back, and then you get nothing. So they take the free racks.
Look at that graph. Oh, my God.
Ooh. Everything was in favor. Yeah, before that, even, this win probability favored T1 before that fight. They were up 53%. That was, the game was theirs for the taking. But they just forced things in the Roche pit, as you know. At least in the SEA pubs, there's a bit of a meme around like the SEA Roches. Their teams are just so, known for throwing games around the Roshan pit. And that just felt like one of the bigger throws at the Roshan pit from T1 is, of course, Fnatic doing everything to execute right. But it's just, you're trying to Roche against a team with full vision. An ET who's just stomping you in the pit, or even when he forces you out, that set up these Marcy disposals. Like, you have to get out of the pit so you don't get stomped. DJ sees you, he blinks in, pulls you out. Like, this game has just been probably so much fun for DJ to play. He's just setting up every single kill for his team.
Well, and I think one of the other things that stands out, there were a couple moments in that last game where there was like a miscoordination happening between T1. In that fight from Fnatic, the coordination was perfect. As TA bought back, DJ went in, got the dispose, they got the roar follow-up, and then by the time he was able to finish the TP in, they were already on top of the Pudge and it was over. Like, maybe if they can get out of that pit before the fight comes out, it's fine, because they had like 20 more seconds or something until BKB was back up. It could have been all the difference in the world.
Yep.
Oh, God.
This is it. Fnatic so close to qualifying to the major, guaranteeing that third SEA slot and knocking out T1 and RSG.
Right there. They try and do it. They tried to jump. They got the BKB out from two of them. Can they force this fight? Black Hole onto Armel. That is not the big one again. And no, he gets out. The phase shift, the jaunt away, tries to escape Armel out of there. You gotta be kidding me.
Now
Gabby
in
now.
trouble.
You gotta watch out. A couple long ranges. Armel jumps back in. The
Armel,
psycho.
are you kidding me?
They bait it. They jump. They find him. Hook in. Tries to get out a second time. Gabby, he's got to run. He's got to heal back up. The dismember is there, but it's not going to be enough. He does have buyback this time, and they're going to be forced to use it.
Viper just died back, though.
Oh, and Carl turned upon. Disarmed. Okay, this is pretty good for them. They don't get the slowdown in time, though. Armel keeps playing around here so cleanly. Carl cannot finish his TP back home. And with no Dawnbreaker, with no Viper, they're going to have to go all out, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. No Black Hole available. Malefice, Ava, toss. No, the hook gets out again. Now the magician. Oh, get out of there. Another round. Armel solo, 24 HP. The puck that lived.
He was blinking in on like 50 health there, and then he's what a madman. I mean, they're getting the base. He's doing it because he has buyback. Like, he doesn't mind dying because he can TP in with his second life. But holy crap, Fnatic! You can see it there. These boys are happy. They're going to the major. They're avoiding those pesky tiebreakers. And it always seems inevitable with Fnatic. This team just, tournament after tournament, when it comes to representing SEA at TI, at majors, they're always there. They're the one constant in this chaotic, unpredictable region. And honestly, they deserve to represent SEA with how well they've played this tour.
I know, whether it's team coordination, understanding what the placement was in the game that they needed to hit on to make it work, and then just individually incredibly talented plays. This team's got it all. I'm excited. Man, will Fnatic end the day 2-0 means there won't be that three-way tiebreaker. And we've got our three. Boom, Talon, Fnatic. What more could you want, man? That was awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun major. Hopefully for the SEA teams, it's a more successful major than the last. Definitely, teams like Boom have had great international success. Just they didn't find it in Sweden. So, Texas is a new journey, and it's going to be really fun to get to see these teams play there.
Well, that will all do it for us here in Southeast Asia, at least until that last round of tiebreakers. But unfortunate situation for T1. They had their moments where they could have brought it back in this, and it just wasn't enough. A disappointing series, but still obviously being one of the top teams in Southeast Asia. We'll have to see what this means to them going forward. But for now, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we get back, the panel is going to break down all the action and go to an interview as well. See you.
Well, Fnatic have done it. They take game 2. They take this series. They secure the 3rd slot to the major, and they also
They did it, baby.
break the Kyle tweet curse.
Nice.
So it's a big day for Fnatic and also Fnatic fans. But let's have a chat about this game 2, because it did not look always in Fnatic's favor. T1 changed some things up in the draft, looked a lot better for them in this laning phase as well, Fia.
Yeah, I mean, the draft looked better, but more importantly, the versatility in the hero picks looked really good. They moved the Enigma out of the lane versus the Elder Titan, put it in position 5 against the Beastmaster, and Haas picked the Viper. But the Viper versus the TA was a very, very strong laning stage. It forced the Marcy to go tri-lane against the Viper, which gave the Beastmaster Fnatic a really hard time. Pudge really accelerated in this game, and honestly, the early game was all T1 the whole time.
It really was. You mentioned briefly there that the Beast had quite a bit of a rough lane, and he sort of continued on a little bit more throughout this game, struggling to be there for some team fights. Not so much struggling, but he wasn't really there for team fights, and so Fnatic, even though they were still somewhat in the game, it wasn't the team fights that were keeping them in this game sheet.
I mean, they did a lot of things. So the Beastmaster basically got a lot of space bot because Fnatic were putting all their resources into mid and top. Like they were constantly fighting up there, fighting mid, ganking mid, doing things, and just leaving Beast to his own devices. So in a way, this was bad because actually something nice that T1 did was, I think GoDz pointed this out. Whitemon were using Enigma Eidolons to block the camps in the triangle so that the Beast couldn't farm there, because that's typically how they recover. But moving on from that, Beast just split push bot a lot. He didn't really show up to any fights. And Fnatic, after a while, they realized that all their fights were going really poorly for themselves, and they couldn't do this anymore. So they slowed the game down, they stopped taking loads of fights, and they just reduced their gameplay to this extreme split pushing style where they were using TA traps, Puck, Beastmaster summons to just push as many lanes as possible to try and recover the net worth lead, and they brought it back to even and made that space.
The way you talk about that, it makes me feel that you believe Fnatic was always in control, right? They were the ones dictating this pace. They were able to slow it down. They were able to split push. Is that what you feel as well, Fear? That it was kind of always Fnatic controlling that tempo? Or do you think T1 was doing it? Did they have a bit of a downfall where they missed opportunities to dictate the tempo?
I feel like T1 had a good grasp of this game. I think the big changing moment was after the first Aegis. On Gabby, this was his first death of the game, right? The Aegis just expired. TA hit a timing, getting that Deso online, and he died on Pudge. Right there. Right as it expired, they found the opening on Fnatic to jump him, and T1 weren't ready for that. And so them losing that Pudge right then and there kind of halted their momentum. It's like, oh, we're owning this Pudge is unkillable, and all of a sudden the Pudge dies. They did kind of win that team fight a little bit, but it cost them a lot. They had to use Black Hole and everything. But that was a big moment for Fnatic to be like, hey, this Pudge is killable. We can finally play the game now, and their split push efforts were now paying off.
What would T1 have had to have done a little bit differently for that, for this game to not have panned out the way it did?
They needed a boost of travel, I think. They struggled to deal with the split pushing. The reason that pickoff on Gabby happened is a few things. One, T1 did this nicely. They had a lane ward set up to try and deal with this split pushing. This was their idea. And they see the Beastmaster, they go to kill him. But when they do that, it is at the same time the Aegis expires, and then Fnatic do capitalize on that and come and kill him. And they're split up. They're not together. Why is that? Because Puck has spent the last minute shoving in the top lane, so there's a hero there attending to that. There's heroes mid attending to that. It's just I feel like they needed more boost of travel so they could deal with it, because you couldn't simply rely on just Dawn and her ult to have that global pressure.
I mean, look, there probably are a lot of other things as well T1 could have done differently, but ultimately, Fnatic knew what they had to do in this game, and they got it done. They end up taking this series. It means we also get a winner's interview with them. Armel is going to be joining us. Armel, congratulations! You guys are going to the major. How does that feel?
Is feels so good, like sigh of relief, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. Are
It's
you
like-
a little bit nervous going to another major, or is there a lot that you guys have learnt from the Stockholm major that you're going to improve?
I think we learn a lot. I think not really nervous, to be honest, because we knew to ourselves that if we play our game, we're gonna win it all.
Mhm.
But sometimes we just very inconsistent.
Yeah, well, today you guys looked great. You played your game and you did well. But in this game, too, the start was quite rough for you. Were you guys worried about this game, too, or did you know exactly what you needed to do to get back in?
I think when we look at our drop, I mean when we look at their drop, they can't really end the game.
Yep.
So and they don't have like threatening catch, only the tiny. But it's not reliable as well. So we decided to just split them up and like since the Beastmaster is having a hard time too, so we just need to make the game a little bit longer, make our TA pot, and I think we're gonna win the game from that.
So my question is, you guys are going to the major. Congratulations on that. But against these international teams, do you think you're going to bring your same meta from C to the major, or do you think you will adapt a little bit to the other regions and
mean-
try something new?
I think we're gonna adapt. In the international level, it's always gonna be like a different match. You're gonna learn from every matches that you have. So like we're still gonna play our own, but we're for sure gonna adapt on what's good and not.
My question is to you. Puck seems to be absolutely dominating a lot of pro games. I was curious why you guys don't value him in the first phase picks so much.
I think because we keep picking it before. If you guys notice it in our past drops,
Yeah.
we always first pick it and stop. And I think the players are like smart enough to figure out like what's counter to it, like indirect counter, even like not catch. So like we're adjusting our drop too. So it's not easy to like predict.
Okay. Also, again on the topic of drafting, when you guys played against Boom, you drafted Spectre, and I was kind of curious what you thought that hero's strengths were for her to be pickable.
I think we discuss it and like we see the heroes, the Kotal and the Wyvern. We just need to kill those heroes to win the game. But unfortunately, we made the mistake that we kind of knew that CK versus Spec is not that ideal, but we still did it anyway, and yeah.
Alright. Well, Mel, congratulations again to you and the team. Tell them all we said hello, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you.
See ya. See Januel in the back there. He's always so cheeky with the interviews.
"Hey, guys."
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to do the interview, but I'm going to be in the background of it.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. Fnatic, that was our final series. Fnatic T1 for Division 1 of SEA 2 at 3. So let's have a look at these standings for the very last time. It is Boom, Talent, Fnatic, your three teams going to the major. Congratulations to all of them. Then it's RSG, unfortunately, just missing out. T1, SMG, and then it's NGXC and Polaris going down to Division 2 together. Now, while we are looking at these Division 1 standings, you will see Boom, Talent, they have the same scoreline, and there are DPC points up for grabs, which means we are going to have a tiebreaker played out between these two. Those tiebreakers are going to be played on Saturday.
Yeah.
I have to get my days right. Days of the week are very difficult for me.
We
It
love
is-
Saturday. Saturday is C Day.
Saturday is C Day. Yes, that tiebreaker is going to be played out on this Saturday. It'll be very interesting to see if Talon can take first place in their first time in Division 1. It's going to be very, very hype. For you guys, though, do you want to, any closing remarks on SEA for 2 or 3?
I'm just really happy that Talon got to Div 1 and made it to the major. I think that's the most exciting thing. I think it's a massive shakeup for like C as a region.
Yeah.
It's like T1's not going to a major. This is massive. This is pretty huge. This is the team that made it to TI10, and like they're not going. But like this is it. We got new teams now. We got new top teams. It's a very competitive, very exciting region, and I'm glad that we were here to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see them at the major and just bring, like, they've had their own meta. That's why I asked the question, are they going to bring their own meta or they adapt? Said they're looking to adapt. I hope they don't, honestly, because I just want to see them play their game, and like maybe that'll give them more of an advantage going into this major.
Well, I'm excited to see these teams play at the major. It's going to be a very exciting one. We're not finished for today, though. Even though SEA is over, there is still some Eastern European action. Those games are a little bit away, though, so we're going to jump to a short break. We're going to come back. We're going to do some hashtag Ask DPC, and then we'll be jumping into Eastern Europe.